affect us, but that may affect us in later times or in sundry situations. If what is happening in Taraba State today is not adequately addressed by concerned Nigerians, it will happen in Edo State, it will happen in Imo State, it will happen in Gongola State, it will happen in Zamfara State. So as long as yes,
there's
no Gongola.
Sorry about that. Adamawa and co. I'm living in the past. So if
Come
we don't
to
address,
the present, please.
I am coming now to the present. So if we don't address it presently, believe me, it will become a precedent, and tomorrow somebody misbehaving will tell you it has happened. There's a precedent. After all, it happened in Taraba State, so there's no news. It's not a news again. So we have to address it now, nationally speaking, so as that we correct the defects that we are noticing.
So what will we be looking if, because there was amendments about the same kind of scenario with the president at the presidential level.
Yes.
So was that amendment incomplete? Didn't it capture this scenario?
And that is the problem with Constitution. I had His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola speaking at the annual general conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, saying that some of the provisions of our Constitution, we have to question whether some of them should still remain in the Constitution, whether we should not remove them and put them in other kinds of laws. That brings us to the question of importance of the Constitution. This regular review, when, like somebody was saying, if you have a car and each and every time you keep panel beating it, one each week you panel beat it. If you have the money to buy a new car, is it not better you buy a new car? And that is the question. That's the problem that Nigeria is facing. We are like the ostrich, putting our heads in the sand, thinking that there's no problem, but there is a problem with our Constitution. So the sooner we address the structural defense of the Constitution, the better for us. We have a wholesome Constitution, then we create different laws that are subordinate to the Constitution.
Mr. Ikeju, some people will say that is not the analogy. Some people will say, what if you are the reckless driver? You keep bashing your car. I mean, you don't know how to drive.
Then you change the driver. If you change the driver, or else one day you die.
That's what I'm saying. Some people are saying this is the operators of the Constitution that have the problem, not the Constitution itself.
No, I have a very different view. It is wrong to say that the operation of the Constitution is very wrong. Like I come in here this morning and we look at you. Somebody was saying that can we please put on the AC? If the AC is not on and you are sweating, you obviously cannot work well. In spite of how you want to praise the environment, the ambience, the aesthetic nature of the studio. So the problem is not just about the operators it's not just about the Constitution, but also the operators in those two dimensions, because the Constitution itself is terribly defective. Sometimes the context of the Constitution itself may be okay, but because it lacks the imprimatur of the people, it lacks the autochthonity of the people, that is, lacks the signature of the people, the authority of the people, it is difficult for allegiance to be given to it, and that is very fundamental.
Could you shed some light on this? Because, I mean, something just strikes me now, with respect to our elections.
Yes.
When elections are conducted and candidates go to the tribunal, and then they tell you, was there substantial compliance?
Yes.
And some tell you, well, there was compliance, but there wasn't substantial compliance.
Yes.
And then you see judgments come through. You have dissenting judgments.
Yes.
And some people seem to stick more, agree more, identify more with the dissenting judgments than the majority judgment. But the majority judgment will always, the lead judgment will always have the case.
Yes.
In this case, the permanent incapacity.
Yes.
If that seems to be the question now, if he's not deemed to be permanently incapacitated, means he can still be governor. He
can still be governor, yes.
So that becomes,
but he's not capable.
That's a legal matter.
He does not have the capacity presently to work.
How do
that's the question people are raising.
Capacity, to what extent? Because if he can govern through proxies, if he can govern through commissioners, through aides, why can't?
No. It's not as simple as saying you can govern through aides. He has the executive position, and executive position is not a ceremonial position.
If he can issue instructions in that capacity, in his state, in that executive position.
Yes. You have to ask the question. You have to ask the question whether he has the appropriate mental and physical capacity to issue the instructions.
And that will be
can he exert himself mentally? Can he exert himself mentally?
That can only be determined medically, isn't it?
It can be determined medically. It should be, in my view. I think it should be determined medically. And I think that's why I started by saying that the Constitution is not just the wordings of the document. The Constitution has a spirit. It has a morality about it, of the people. So I think that even where the constitution may not have appropriate provision allowance presently because of the situation of the executive council to catalyze the process of a medical investigation. The speaker and some of the people in Taraba State can still insist that a proper medical examination be still carried out independent of the constitution, and that, in my view, is appropriate. Yes,
there's a process that that has to follow. Does it have to be initiated by the speaker?
No, that process is to be initiated by the executive council. But what I'm saying is that because the constitution is not a document that you interpret rigidly or restrictively, you interpret it in such a way as to find out the intention of the drafters of the constitution or to achieve the best. Yes.
Would it be fair for people to say that the speaker has been mischievous by rejecting the letter in the first place because there isn't any express provision that allows the speaker to reject the letter? Because some say that even if the governor says, I have resumed, that's transmitted.
Then it has to be the governor who said it. The speaker
has to say it's not the governor who said it.
The speaker has a duty to ensure that it is the governor who said it, because you and I know that there's a question as to the ability of the governor himself to even understand what is being written.
Upon what did the question come when there was no medical examination or nothing?
There's no. You don't need a medical examination. You have been showing it to us on air. No, you saw it when you saw it when he was being held down. And even the one you showed this morning, you saw how he was speaking. We didn't hear him. Stressing, yes.
I mean, we didn't hear him speak. In fairness,
I heard him speak. I watched it. I saw it.
You heard it online.
Oh yes,
now we
online.
haven't heard, because this is what we have on television. You can see what we have. He's speaking, and at some point he even read a text. So he has the capacity or capability to at least read, recognize written words, and speak it. I mean, his speech might be slurred, because what we understand is that his speech is slurred. But I'm sure that's what you also heard.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that, you know, his mental capacity to understand things is not there.
No, we are not asking of his mental capacity to understand things. In my view, I'm saying that the mental capacity to carry out, I'm looking for the appropriate phrase, but the mental capacity to appreciate the entire gamut of the processes available before him, not just the simple approach of understanding.
Can I ask a question? What do we want? Because I know that when the governor got back, he heard some people said, oh, he couldn't wave, oh, he waved, oh, he didn't even say welcome, I'm here back, my people, oh, he didn't even address the crowd, he didn't even acknowledge people that were there. I mean, we've come up with all sorts of things. And now, if we've finally seen an address, we're saying, oh, the speech is slurred, oh, he's not talking for too long. Oh, what exactly do we want?
What I want personally, as I speak, I want the people of Taraba State to show us, to the Nigerians, an appropriate, independent, transparent medical report as to his state of health. That is a simple demand.
And this is also you saying that you know that it can be cooked up.
That's why I said it.
How would you verify that this is actually independent? I think you also have to explain what to qualify as independent for you.
And that's why I qualified it by saying genuine, transparent. If it is transparent, you will know the source. You will know the source, and that is why this constitution makes provisions for 5 medical experts, experienced medical experts. You need not go all that length of the constitution, but when you see a transparent process, my dear, you will know. You need not be told, you need not be taught about what is transparent, what is clear. We were in this country when our late president was brought in a vegetative state, and were deceived.
We didn't say it, it was the middle of the night. That's the difference.
That is the point. But you know, you cannot pretend not to know. You cannot, just because you want to play devil's advocate, you do not want to say the truth. The truth clearly is that Mr. Sontai needs further time to recuperate, to recover, and it would be appropriate, it would be decorous, it would be good to the sense of decency that he asks for a little bit more time to come back.
Mr. Keji, I might be playing devil's advocate, but as much as possible, I'm sticking with the facts. I mean, we're looking at it in a very factual manner. You're comparing that scenario with the return of our late president, and I'm saying that there are 2 different circumstances. One person came back in the dead of the night with an ambulance and was taken to the State House. The second person came back to the full glare of, oh, yes, he was being helped down the stairs, but as far as we're concerned, we saw him even attempted to wave. So we can say that there are 2 different scenarios.
Of course, there can never be 2 scenarios that are exactly alike, but the principles may be alike, and it is the principles that we are referring to. The principle of not subjecting a sick person to appropriate, transparent medical investigation that will be reported to the people who voted the person
My
in.
only fear is that, you
Yes.
know, at the end of the day, we might get a medical report and then we'll question it as well. I mean,
Yes.
as we've questioned everything
If-
else.
if-
Because,
if
I mean,
you get
if
a-
we
if you
ask
get-
for an address, if we ask for say hello and I'm back, I mean, he's done that. Now
Yes.
we're questioning that as well and saying, no, the only thing that will satisfy us. It's like every time they meet the goalpost, we tend to shift it in the middle of the game. That's what it seems we're doing.
No. In fact, the more he tries to speak, like the one I watched this morning, the more it is clear, it becomes clear to you that he is struggling to talk.
Chamberlain asked the question, can he recuperate as governor? Can he, you know, you're saying he should take time away and go and get better.
Yes.
I think the
it
fundamental
requires an objective
question,
answer.
can he recuperate? I mean, yes, we can see that he still needs to recover a little more.
Yes.
It is a progressive work.
Thank you for accepting
Can he
that.
recuperate
Yes.
as governor?
That question, I should throw it back to you as an objective bystander, completely disinterested.
I'm the one asking the question.
But you objectively, you can answer the question that is it proper for somebody who is not appropriately fit to continue to preside over the affairs of a state where he can rest and recover appropriately to have his full strength and ability to do what he ought to do.
I wonder why I keep remembering the more things change, the more they become the same. Thank you for coming on,
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
of the
much.
Constitutional Rights and
Advocacy Initiative
Initiative and a legal practitioner.
Thank you.
We're back in just a moment.